Gregor Mendel was a monk with a passion for science. He lived in the 1800s. Mendel is known as the father of genetics. Why? Because he figured out how traits pass from parents to offspring. This is called heredity. Mendel's work revolutionized our understanding of inheritance. Mendel loved to study nature. He was especially curious about how plants inherit their traits. He noticed that some plants were tall, while others were short. Some had purple flowers, while others had white ones. What caused these differences? Mendel decided to find out. Mendel chose to study pea plants. Pea plants were perfect for his experiments. They reproduce quickly and they have many easily observable traits. Mendel could control which plants pollinated each other. This allowed him to carefully track the traits of each generation. Mendel's experiments were groundbreaking. He kept meticulous records of his observations. He analyzed his data with a mathematician's precision. His findings led him to formulate the fundamental laws of inheritance. These laws form the bedrock of modern genetics. One of Mendel's most important discoveries was the law of segregation. What does this law tell us? It explains how traits are passed down from one generation to the next. The secret lies in tiny things called genes. Genes are like blueprints that carry information about our traits. We inherit one set of genes from our mother and one set from our father. Each gene comes in different versions called alleles. For example, the gene for flower color in pea plants has 2 alleles, one for purple flowers and one for white flowers. The law of segregation states that during reproduction, each parent randomly contributes one allele from each pair to their offspring. This means that each offspring has an equal chance of inheriting either allele from each parent. This is like flipping a coin. Let's take a closer look at Mendel's pea plant experiments to see how he discovered the law of segregation. Mendel started with purebred pea plants. Purebred plants always produce offspring with the same traits. For example, a purebred purple-flowered plant will always produce offspring with purple flowers. Mendel crossed a purebred purple-flowered plant with a purebred white-flowered plant. What do you think happened? All the offspring had purple flowers? This is because the allele for purple flowers is dominant over the allele for white flowers. Next, Mendel crossed 2 of these purple-flowered offspring. This time something interesting happened. About 3/4 of the offspring had purple flowers, but about 1/4 had white flowers. Why? This is where the law of segregation comes in. The purple-flowered offspring still carried the allele for white flowers, even though they didn't express it. When they reproduced, these hidden alleles were passed down to the next generation. Mendel's experiments with pea plants provided strong evidence for the law of segregation. He showed that traits are determined by discrete units of inheritance, which we now call genes. He also demonstrated that these units are segregated during reproduction, leading to the observed patterns of inheritance. Mendel's law of segregation is a cornerstone of modern genetics. It helps us understand why we resemble our parents and siblings. It explains how genetic disorders can be passed down through families. It also has important implications for agriculture and medicine. For example, breeders use the law of segregation to develop new varieties of crops with desirable traits. By carefully selecting parent plants, they can control the inheritance of traits like yield, disease resistance, and nutritional content. In medicine, the law of segregation is used to understand the inheritance of genetic disorders like cystic fibrosis and sickle cell anemia. This knowledge helps doctors to diagnose these conditions early and to provide appropriate genetic counseling to families. Mendel's law of segregation revolutionized our understanding of heredity. It laid the foundation for the field of genetics and continues to shape our understanding of life itself. From the traits we inherit to the development of new medical treatments, Mendel's legacy lives on.